Hello, seventh grade. Happy, what day is it? Thursday? Yes, it's Thursday, April 16th, 2020. What we're talking about today are modifiers. Again, modifiers are words like adjectives or adverbs, other clauses, phrases, things like that. Modifiers, things that change the meaning of something in the sentence or gives extra meaning. So we've been talking about modifiers all week. What's going to be tricky about today is we're going to look at modifiers that make the sentence more confusing and how to correct those. They're called misplaced or dangling modifiers. So, first of all, a modifier should be really close to the word that it is modifying. That's just how we read, right? So, here's an example. World religions, complex and serious, are sometimes very confusing. Complex and serious is an adjective they're two adjectives that are describing world religions. And it makes a lot of sense because they're right next to each other. World religions are complex and they are serious. They're sometimes very confusing. Here's another example of a good modified word. The tunnel, long and dark, frightened us. The tunnel, long and dark, frightened us. Long and dark is describing the tunnel. Now, these are all good examples of modifiers that are right next to the words that they change or modify. Here's another example. My cat chews noisily. Noisily modifies how the cat chews. It chews noisily. So, what gets a little bit challenging, here's a cute picture of a puppy and a cat, is when the modifier is misplaced. It's too far away from the target. It makes the sentence unclear. She saw a puppy and a kitten on the way to the store. Now, when you read this, you're probably like, okay, yeah, she was walking to the store. She saw a puppy and a kitten. But if you really look at this sentence, it looks like the puppy and the kitten were on the way to the store. And you know that's not true because puppies and kittens don't go shopping. So you need to fix it. There's lots of different ways that you can do this. There's several ways to fix it. You can name the performer of the action in both clauses. So who's on the way to the store? She is, the pronoun she. So you can just name it twice in there. Here's an example of how you would do that. She saw a puppy and a kitten while she was on the way to the store. So you'll also notice that we added in while, and it's acting like a subordinate conjunction while she was on the way to the store. This makes it more clear that she is the one performing the action. Same thing. You can use an adverbial to show time sequence: after, before, while, when, as soon as. Again, she saw a puppy and a kitten while she was on the way to the store. Another way that you could correct the sentence is just to reword it. On the way to the store, she saw a puppy and a kitten. So we took the last part of the sentence, on the way to the store, and we put it at the beginning, creating now a complex sentence. On the way to the store, she saw a puppy and a kitten. And those are all ways that you can correct it to make sure that the modified phrase or clause or word is right next to the word that it's modifying. The word that it's modifying is she. What was she doing? She was on the way to the store. Confused yet? All right, let's look at a couple more examples. Flying through the air in the hot air balloon, the scenery was magnificent. Now, you would imagine that being on a hot air balloon, flying, would be amazing. The scenery would be beautiful. When you read this sentence, if you read it carefully, it looks like the scenery was flying through the air. That doesn't make sense. The hot air balloons, whoever's in the hot air balloon is the one that's flying through the air. The scenery is on the ground, what they're looking at, right? So it's confusing because it's far away from what it's modifying. So there's lots of ways you can correct it. As we flew through the air in the hot air balloon, we saw some magnificent scenery. So they added some pronouns that I'm going to underline here. Whoops. They added pronouns. As we flew through the hot air balloon, we saw some magnificent. Scenery. Let's look at another correction. The scenery below was magnificent as we flew over the hot air balloon. While flying through the air in the hot air balloon, we noticed the magnificent scenery below. So each sentence is indicating who is performing the actions. That's the way you correct that one. Here's another example. Hanging by only one nail, Ned fixed the screen door. Okay. When you read this sentence, it looks like Ned is hanging by a nail. His shirt is hanging by a nail. Is that what's happening? No. The screen door is hanging by one nail, and Ned fixed it. So let's look at the corrections. Ned fixed the screen door that had been hanging by only one nail. Because the screen door had been hanging by only one nail, Ned fixed it. After the screen door had been hanging by only one nail, Ned fixed it. Last example, and then you can get started. Placing the tray in the oven, the desserts began to bake immediately. Now, you know that a baker places trays in ovens. Desserts do not place themselves in the oven. That would be magical. So you could add a pronoun or a noun, a person that's actually doing this. After Nellie had placed the tray of desserts in the oven, they began to bake immediately. Once Nellie had placed the tray of desserts in the oven, they began to bake immediately. The tray of desserts began to bake immediately after Nellie had placed them in the oven. So you can see that it added the person that's doing the action. So don't be confusing, like I am sometimes. Be clear and think about your sentence. On No Red Ink, you're going to practice this today. And I also am going to be looking for your quick write today. Let me know if you have any questions. Good luck. Talk to you soon. This is the thing where I try to figure out how to stop recording. It's going to take me a second.